Well, hey everybody, I hope that your day has been going well. It has been a little bit of a hot week here, and we have been dealing with that heat all across North Georgia, and that's going to continue here as we head throughout this next week. So we do these updates every Wednesday to keep everybody updated on what the forecast is going to be throughout the end of the week, into the weekend, into the early part of next week, so you know what's going to be going on there after the weekend's done and what you can expect for the work week ahead. Here's what we have across the southeast for today. We do have some drier conditions in North Georgia, and the southeast is pretty much a whole. Just a little bit of shower activity there along that I-20 corridor in Mississippi and down into portions of Florida. They have some showers, but not really seeing much rain activity for everybody else. Check out the time lapse from Atlanta as we headed throughout this morning. Had a beautiful sunrise, lots of clear sky overhead, and a little bit of breezy out there. Notice the wind picking up, moving the trees in the foreground a little bit as we headed throughout the early part of the afternoon. That's going to continue as we head throughout today. Clear skies and winds out of the northwest at about 7 miles per hour. 97 is what the temperature is as of about 2:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday, and we are forecast to hit 100 degrees. If we hit 100 degrees today, it'll be the first time that we have hit the triple digits since August 13th of 2019. We don't hit triple digits often in Atlanta. We've only done it 72 times in history. Weather history or weather recordings started to be taken once we got to 1928. So that lets you know, since 1928, just 72 times. Today may make it 73. Still feels like 100 out there, though, with the humidity, making it feel just a little bit warmer. Out towards Truist Park, beautiful conditions right now. Again, just a little hot out there. A lot of sunshine, a few clouds there in the distance, just about a cloud or two, not much by any means. And then also when we look out towards the city of Newnan, seeing a cloud or two, and then that's about it. We do have an air quality alert that is in place for today. That is that just lets you know that there's a little bit more air pollution in the air. It could start to be an issue for those who are more sensitive to worse air conditions. Things like people who could be older, even very young people, those who may have some pre-existing conditions that could impact their lungs. You may notice a little bit extra issues today with some of those higher levels of pollutants in the air. And that's likely going to continue to be an issue, not just today. I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up getting an air quality alert for Thursday as well, just with how still the air is kind of out there. Looking out across the southeast again, not seeing any rain, and until we start to get some more active weather patterns in here, we're likely going to continue to deal with that high pressure and that pretty still air. 95 degrees in Atlanta is what it's showing now for temperatures, but again, those temperatures could hit the triple digits. It's 63 degree dew points. With those dew points being a little bit lower compared to what we had last week, that's allowing our temperatures to be able to kind of move a little more and grow. Notice that a lot of the southeast is under a heat advisory. The metro Atlanta is not under one, but we do have a heat advisory in place for areas like Athens, stretching down to Macon, where you see everything lit up in orange there. That's where temperatures could hit 103 degrees today. So very hot conditions. We're only expected to hit 100 on the dot in Atlanta. Again, lots of sunshine to go around, lower humidity. That all allows those temperatures to really rise. Now, don't forget to download this app from the App Store. You can download the app not just to your phone so that you have the newscasts and weather updates just like this one whenever you're on the go, but you can also download the app to your Roku and Fire TV. We're actually live on Roku and Fire TV apps right now giving updates. You would just go to the App Store within your Roku or Fire TV device, look for the 11 Alive Plus app, which 11 Alive Plus gives you a little bit more compared to what you would just see from our newscast, a little bit of extra content, extra news, extra weather, and once you download that, you'll be able to access all of that extra information whenever you're at home. Looking at the temperatures as we head throughout as we've headed throughout this last month, you can tell we've been above average. That's expected to continue throughout this next week too. We've only had 4 days in the month of June that have brought us below average temperatures, and we may actually even end up finishing up the month with nothing but above average temperatures. Maybe towards the very end of the month, maybe just a little bit of cooler conditions, maybe a day or two below average. We'll see. We'll show that in the 7-day forecast in just a moment. So what's the highest temperatures that we've had so far in the year of 2022? Well, 99 degrees on June 15th. And notice all the temperatures that you see on this list, That all occurred within the last week and a half. We've been in a heat wave, and it looks like it's just going to continue here for this next week, including for today. Again, we could hit 100 degrees. That's the forecast. If we do that, that will also be the 4th earliest that we have ever hit 100 degrees on record. Let me bump it back to that graphic. The earliest that we have ever hit 100 degrees on record was on June 6th in 1943. Little fun fact here. In 1943, we also hit 100 degrees at the latest period we've ever hit it. And I believe that happened in September or October. I don't have that off the top of my head. But we only hit 100 degrees 3 times in 1943. And that is the 5th highest amount of times that we have hit 100 degrees on record, tying with 1936 there. 9 times in 1 year is the most that we've ever hit 100 degrees. And again, that stat that I mentioned a little bit earlier on in our update here, 72 times in history since 1928 until now. But again, after today, we may be updating that to 73. 98 degrees is what we're expecting for tomorrow. So again, triple digits today, but a little cooler for Thursday. And you see the temperatures start to taper off there a little bit as we head into the weekend and early next week. Still going to be hot though, and hot enough that you need to remember to be checking your car before you lock that door. Make sure that you're not leaving kids in the back seat, even if it's just for a couple of minutes. Same thing with pets. Make sure that you're checking the car, bringing them inside, and not putting anybody in danger there. You see how quickly things can heat up in those cars whenever their temperatures are even in the 80s to lower 90s. And remember to check the pavement. I always say use the back of your hand. Put it on the pavement. Hold it there for a few seconds. If that's too hot for the back of your hand, it's too hot for the paws too, for your pets. Make sure that you're checking the concrete and asphalt and trying to keep it in the grass as long as these temperatures are on the hotter side. So what about rain? Are we going to see any here over the next 24 to 48 hours? And the answer is it's not looking very likely. Today, shower activity trying to pop up there on the forecast track. I don't think we're going to be lucky enough to see anything though. Moving into this afternoon and into tonight, you see temperatures dropping down to the 70s, a little bit of cloud cover to start off our Thursday, and maybe a little bit of light shower activity to moderate shower activity closer onto the Carolinas and maybe even as close as Athens for Thursday afternoon as temperatures rise to the 90s. But I think it's going to be hard for Atlanta to see any rain on Thursday. And then we'll finally start to see rain chances bump up for Friday, including for the Atlanta area. Saturday and Sunday, slight chances for rain in, and still fairly slight there for Monday, but at least bumping up to a 30% chance. The only problem is you saw a lot of rain chances in there over the next 5 days. Well, it's not going to amount to much. We're talking about a 1/2 inch of rain or less for everybody, and I think some of us may make it through the next week without a drop of rainfall. And that's not good because we've now fallen behind. Notice the normal year-to-date amount of rain that we should have. 24.2, just over 24.2 inches there. We've only had 24.1 inches of rain in Atlanta, so we've just fallen behind, and that means that we're likely going to see abnormally dry conditions whenever the drought monitor updates every Thursday, spread further into North Georgia, possibly even including the Atlanta area. Looking at our 7-day forecast here over the next week, here's what we can expect. Again, you see a lot of rain chances in, but it's not going to amount to much. The next 7 days, still less than 1/2 inch of rain pretty much for everybody. Triple digits today, that's going to be the hottest temperature we have all week. And again, that would end up being the hottest temperature that we have hit so far this year. And then you see those temperatures tapering off a little bit there. Monday at 92. And I told you we're going to get a little bit of a cool down, possibly 88 on Tuesday. That would be average this time of year, and it would be very nice compared to what we have these temperatures at right now to see those temperatures take a little bit more of a tumble down into the 80s for highs. So the 8 to 14 day outlook looks like it's having a little bit of trouble loading here for us, but I can let you know it is looking like the 8 to 14 day outlook is showing us that we'll have above average temperatures. Sometimes it takes a second to load. It took a second to load the rainfall, but we'll give it a second to see if it can catch that data for us. The 8 to 14 day outlook also showing us that we'll have around average rainfall, which is good for this time of year. You know, this is one of our wetter months here as we head throughout June and into the early part of July. And I know people may not want that rain on the 4th of July, but if you want to shoot off fireworks even to begin with, you want the ground to have a little bit of moisture so we don't have a threat for fires. So even if you want to shoot off some fireworks, well, at least want a little bit of rain somewhere around the 4th to help moisten up the ground there. I'll bounce it back to this 8 to 14 day outlook one more time just to see if it can catch that data, and it's having trouble. It's having trouble today. Sometimes it struggles to catch that data, but I can let you know above average temperatures is what we're thinking as we head into the end of the week and into early next week, or end of the month and into early next month, excuse me. The tropics not showing much in the way for the Atlantic. No tropical development expected over the next 5 days. But in the Pacific, the Eastern Pacific, we do have a tropical storm out there. Not going to be impacting the United States. It's going to stay offshore. Something we'll keep an eye on, though. Of course, that's the sea name for the Pacific. For the Atlantic, the sea name would be Colin, and we haven't even made it to Bonnie yet. We have only had Alex as our first name storm of the year, and we may make it through the next couple of weeks, possibly without a name system. So quiet for the tropics, but that's typical. Remember, the peak of hurricane season doesn't come around until we head to the last 2 weeks of August, first 2 weeks of September. That's typically when we have the most activity and when some of the more major storms have even hit the United States. Of course, it began on June 1st. It doesn't end until November 30th, so still a lot of the season to go. We'll continue to keep you updated on all of it. For your weekend getaways, looking like a lot of chances for rain. But this is important. It's not going to be a washout. We are going to have showers and storms there possible for Friday, including even for Lake Lanier. You saw that as we looked through portions of the forecast track just a moment ago. Saturday, possibly bringing some more storms. Dry at Lake Lanier, though, for Sunday, and then maybe some more shower and thunderstorm activity possible there on Monday. And you see even down towards Destin, off and on showers and storms can be possible, but again, off and on. Not going to be constant rainfall. I don't expect any of those weekend getaways to be a washout as we head throughout the next few days here. Peach State outlook. If you're traveling across the state of Georgia, some spots will be a little bit hotter. Triple-digit heat going to be possible there for Albany, Columbus, Macon, Augusta. You see a lot of really hot conditions, possibly even for Albany continuing. Before some of those storms arrive on Friday, they may hit the triple digits. And then for Atlanta, for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but a little bit of a cool down there. And then finally, your Georgia State Park forecast. You know, I always like to include this because sometimes you may not know about these state parks, and you may want to even plan a trip for the weekend. But if you plan to do any hikes, maybe at Cloudland Canyon State Park there in far northwest Georgia on Thursday, starting off in the 70s, rising to the 90s for the afternoon. You know it's going to be hot this weekend. Not everybody's going to see storms, but know that they'll be possible. So if you do plan to maybe hike one of these parks this weekend, be sure to pack plenty of water and overpack. That way you can stay hydrated when you're out there exploring some of the beautiful state parks that Georgia has to offer. So I do want to bump this back up to the 7-day. Again, it is going to be hot today. Hottest temperature that we have had so far this year is possible, 100 degrees, and possibly the hottest temperature that we have had in nearly 3 years with that 100-degree mark being hit. It is still going to be hot again for Thursday, hitting 98 degrees, 95 again for Friday. Notice the wazometer numbers staying pretty medium to high there. Nothing too messy about the weather pattern. The only reason why we're not at a higher point there for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, first of all, you have the slight chances for rain in there with the exception of today, but also the fact that it's just going to be so dang hot out there. You know, hitting the mid to upper 90s, that's above average for this time of year, and that can also be really impactful for people who may be wanting to do a little bit of work outside. You may also want to get that sprinkler running outside because, again, a lot of hot conditions that we've had more recently, and then the fact that we haven't had much rainfall here these last couple of weeks means that drought conditions could start to impact your lawn a little bit more. And then the fact that we don't have much rain over the next 7 days expected to accumulate also means that your yard could start to hurt a little bit on the grass. So less than a half of an inch pretty much for everybody. A couple spots could get up to a half of an inch. And again, that's about it. Not a really good soaking rain like what you really could need for your grass in order to keep it at healthy levels. So again, we're going to continue to do these updates every single Wednesday because we want to make sure that you can stay informed on the forecast as you try to prepare there for the weekend and into the early part of next week. Don't forget that you can always catch our newscast right on 11 Alive. Just head on over to 11 Alive on your TV and you can watch us to give updates all day, every day. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb's on in the evenings. And then meteorologist Chesley McNeil is on in the mornings giving updates. Don't forget, you can also download that 11 Alive app on your phone to get updates whenever you're on the go. You can actually watch the newscast from your phone at home whenever you're out somewhere. Of course, not when you're out driving, but you can get updates on the weather, updates on news, and then also watch the newscast. That can be very valuable whenever the power possibly goes out during severe weather, so you can stay informed on things. And then download that 11 Alive Plus app for your Roku and Fire TV devices. That way you can always know what the forecast is going to be and be able to watch it whenever you want. So we'll continue to keep you updated on everything right here at 11 Alive, and I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead.